Hello and welcome to Sounding Board, a community access television production of Seroptimus International of Novato. My name is Madeline Peters. My guest here is Norma Gaona, whom I will introduce in a moment. First, just a little bit of a message on Seroptimus itself. Seroptimus International's goal is to improve the lives of women and girls through programs leading to social and economic empowerment. Today's guest is Norma Gaona, and the title of our program today is Caregivers Helping Seniors. Caregivers Helping Seniors. We're going to tap into the stories that Norma will share with us in her role as a caregiver working with the senior community. Thank you, Norma, for being here. I'm so glad to have you. Finally, we've been able to launch this, and this is particularly momentous because for the first time we're offering the program both in English and Spanish. So we have me, obviously, as a monolingual speaker, and Norma as a bilingual speaker, so thanks for taking this gigantic step with us.
Okay. My pleasure.
Okay. So a little bit of background on Norma. She was born and raised in Lima, Peru, and arrived in California as a young adult, working in service industries for many years. She had 2 children who are now adults and has 4 grandchildren. And she served as a caregiver for these children and for other children in the community since 2010. Years ago, her initial work in San Francisco in restaurants connected her with the Italian community, where the only way to survive was to learn Italian, and that's where Norma learned how to speak Italian. So, Norma, you are multi-skilled, you're both trilingual and tricultural. Since 1997, Norma's been involved in working with seniors, primarily in the English-speaking community. She has also worked with seniors with disabilities, and as the aging process happens, often able-bodied people end up with disabilities. And so Norma's expertise is in the area of working with our senior citizens with disabilities. Thank you, Norma, and welcome to our program. And thank you for working with Seroptimus International of Novato to produce our first Sounding Board program in both English and Spanish. So, Norma, we're going to go back and forth in English and Spanish. I'll ask the questions in English, and you'll respond in English, and then translate it into Spanish, and maybe I'll improve my Spanish in the process as well. What is it about working with seniors that appeals to you?
Well, let's face it, we're not getting younger.
None of us are, right?
But I like to work with seniors. They're very savvy, they're very intelligent, they're very wise, and you learn from them. And I'm a person that likes to learn.
So the attraction is these people come with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And so
besides that, they need help.
So the people are very interesting. Okay, so that was the English version. Can you give us a Spanish version of your response?
Los señores de la tercera edad son muy inteligentes. Saben lo que quieren, te pueden enseñar. Y a mí me gusta aprender, me gusta trabajar con ellos y yo quiero ayudarlos.
Okay, you like to help them. All right, so now we're just going to take more of a storytelling approach to it. You know, I know you've shared lots of stories with me about your work with seniors, and so I'm going to prompt you to tell a few stories to highlight your experience in working with seniors. And this is part of our way of informing the community about the importance of caring with seniors and the different experiences you've had that can help us all as we move into that caregiving role or as our own lives change as we age. Mm-hmm. So Norma, when you and I talk, there are a lot of. What is the single most important thing about seniors? What is the thing that's most difficult for them?
There's a lot of loneliness in them. There's too many people that are lonely here. Their kids are grown up and they're gone different ways. They have their own lives, and they're left alone, you know. But they do need help. They're still people. They're persons. They need help. it's not like they don't want to, but they do. You know, they do need help. So, and they still have their independence.
So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people who they have had their own lives. They've been independent. They are need help as they grow up, and their children may not be nearby. So
No.
now that you've explained that in English, could you translate it into Spanish?
Sí. Aquí hay muchas personas de la tercera edad que están muy solas, completamente solas por lo que sus hijos o hijas están muy lejos con sus familias, por casualidades de la vida, por trabajo, se van lejos y los papás, como siguen siendo independientes, se quedan solos y dicen, haz tu vida. Pero ya están en una edad que necesitan ayuda y yo los quiero ayudar.
Okay. So then these people need help, as you said, and the children don't live close by to the parents, or they may be working, and so that's where your role comes in. Now the other component we talked about too is medications. So tell me about your experience in working with seniors regarding medications. What is it? Can you kind of create a picture of what it's like?
That is the main thing for them. You do not take my power right there, because that is, you know, what they have. That's the only thing they have. No one is going to tell me what to do. I do my own medications, but they do need help, because sometimes they forget, or they don't take the medication the way they're supposed to. They run out of medication, because if you put them in a little box, it's easy.
Those pill minders, right?
Yeah, it's easy for them, because then they know that they fill it up by the week, and they know if they're running out, because otherwise, I'm out of medications, I need to go to the doctors, and then, you know, and they get last minute, and then you know, you can't do that. But you have to be wise and explain it to them in a way that it's them they're making the decision, not you.
So that's it. It's the power there. People want to be in charge of them, and so you as a caregiver have to make sure that they still feel they understand you're supporting them. They're making the decision.
Right. Yeah, not me trying to take over. You know, so like I'm going to tell you what to do now, because you don't know what you're doing. No, I don't like to do that with them, even though, you know, because they're forgetting that's what they recommended for them. You know, well, you need to make sure that he does that, and then you need to mind her that she's going to give you a medication. But I do it the way they want it. You know?
So you do it. You keep in mind that, again, you're honoring the person's independence. Okay, now in Spanish.
Yes, sí. Lo más importante para estas personas es que ellos quieren tener el control sobre su medicación, y eso es lo más importante para ellos, porque el que le quiten el poder de tomar sus medicaciones, de que eso es lo único que ellos tienen control, porque ya de su vida no tienen control, es algo que les entra como una desesperación, se ponen mal. Y yo los ayudo de la manera de que les hago ver de que ellos pueden seguir teniendo el control mientras lo pongan en esa cajita, que les va a ayudar, y así controlan que si se les va acabando o no las pastillas, para poder ordenar y no tengan que ir de emergencia al doctor para que le den pastillas.
So again, just being there as a reminder, but again, making sure that the individuals are retaining their own independence, their power. I know this is an emotional subject for you, but and for actually families dealing with loved ones who have memory loss. And I remember in our discussions we talked about your kind of facing this, that the people that you work with have memory loss, and how you had to understand what that was all about. You told some very poignant stories, actually very emotional stories.
Yeah, that was at the beginning was one of my first ones, the first clients. She had memory problems, dementia combined with Alzheimer's, and very often misplace things, and so I have to, especially in the how to open the microwave, how to do things, how to take her pills. And
So that was the loss. She couldn't remember how to open the microwave, and she couldn't remember her medications.
no. So as a matter of fact, even her stove was cut off because she would forget things in the stove.
Okay.
So the only thing she had in there to warm up her TV dinners was the microwave.
Okay.
So I have to be wise with her, but I was very stressing. It was a person that you could see her very healthy, very healthy, talking to you about anything, any subject, anything. All, how she was brought up, how her mom used to dress her up, and everything with details. She transported me with details to her childhood. But little things that I will talk to her or that I will tell her, she could not remember a minute or 2 minutes after. And that was very stressing for me, and I
So
didn't
this
know.
was the effect on you
Yeah.
because,
So-
yeah.
So I had to speak to one of the cares of the facility, and I says, I don't think I can do this.
So you didn't think you could continue taking care of this person?
No, because it was very stressing for me. That she couldn't remember things like that. So she connects me with a group of people that are involved in that type of sickness. He said, because that is a sickness too. It's in the head, it's her memory, and she's afraid. Everyone that is afraid. And when I went there,
So when you went to a facility,
I went to a facility for people that are
That had
losing Alzheimer's, they're losing their memory, and it was very. I could understand more why they.
you could understand their behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
After
you-
I saw that,
Yeah.
so I didn't leave her. I stayed with her
So-
all the way.
So what you did is you took the steps, you followed this person's advice to go and just see and understand it more so that you can understand it as a sickness. It was, and you stuck with that person
Yeah.
to keep her, because now you understood how she was functioning and that this was, the disability she exhibited was part of her, was part of her aging process, part of the disease. I know that's emotional, and here I am. I've had you tell this story once in English, and now I'm asking you to tell it again in Spanish. So, would you mind?
No,
Okay.
Trabajar con personas que pierden la memoria un poco y no saben dónde dejan sus llaves, no saben dónde pusieron el dinero o cualquier cosa que les dieron, era desesperante para mí, estresante, y no. Esta era una de mis clientas, primeras de mis clientas, y pensé que no podía hacer este trabajo. Dije, ¿en qué me metí? No voy a poder hacer este trabajo, esto no es para mí. Pero lo consulté con alguien, le dije, ¿sabes qué? Para que le buscaran a alguien que fuera más capacitado, pero ella me dijo, tú puedes. Y me llevó a un lugar donde hay muchas personas que pierden la memoria, que por la edad, porque ella tenía 90, tienen esa enfermedad del Alzheimer o demencia. Cuando fui para allá entendí mejor que ellos no se olvidan las cosas porque quieren, sino porque es algo que les está pasando y es un miedo que tienen ellos por dentro. No saben, se sienten mal, asustados como un niño.
It's interesting because this is such an emotional response. I mean, I certainly know in my own experience, and watching a family member go through the memory loss and watching the anguish, on their faces. And I think it's important, and just to take a moment just to underscore the fact that, yes, this is tough to deal with. It's tough to understand because you're dealing with people who were very competent, had professions, had
Yeah.
careers, And then, so I think one of the things that you talked about, we talked about this too, is seeing the look on the person's face.
Yeah.
That they know something's wrong. They know they can't remember how to use the microwave. They know they can't remember their medications. And it's like that sense, it's like, I think, and you said it before too, is it's that sense of, you see the sense of panic in their faces.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, it's hard for the person who's going through this, it's hard for the caregiver.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to note, that this kind of work, the work that you're doing, you've had to learn how to work with your clients, but that doesn't mean you're just following a recipe or a script. It has its emotional impact.
You have to really care. Yeah.
You have to really care, which you do. But it's, and also learn, like you've done. You've learned how to deal with people with Alzheimer's and dementia, so that you can go back and kind of help them maintain their independence as long as possible.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing that I remember too is you said the blank look that people have on their faces is they're afraid, they're upset with themselves. They're not upset with the caregiver.
No, they're not upset with you. There is a panic look in their faces. You know, I lost something and I don't know what it is. Like when you have a kid that I don't know if you have seen those when they just
freeze up.
They freeze and they just, I wonder what's going to happen to me next.
Uh-huh.
And I go.
So you have that understanding now. You have that.
Yeah, I do. And I go, oh my God, that loss in the eyes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Could I have you repeat that in Spanish?
Sure. La mirada que tienen de miedo, esa sensación de miedo que no saben quién los puede ayudar en ese momento, me llega a mi corazón.
It touches your heart. Yeah, yeah. I think the big thing that in our conversations that comes up is preserving independence. Yeah. Can you speak to that? Just kind of, what you see, and maybe a story around your experience in watching people and the need to preserve independence, the seniors that you work with.
I told you so many stories. I don't know which one you.
You can pick any of them.
With the same person. I remember one time she went out, and she wasn't supposed to go out by herself. She just went out. Someone came over and picked it up, and she went out. I went frantic looking for her everywhere. I have to call her daughter and says, I can't find your mom anywhere. You sure she went out? Yes. Don't worry, she said, she'll come back by dinner time. I don't know. I said, so, but sure enough, by 6 o'clock she was back. But the next day I asked her, I said, where did you go? I said, we were all looking for you. By this time, when I got there, of course, the management in the office already asked her daughter too, where you been? And she says, I'll be darned. I'm 90 years old. If I'm going to tell any one of you, the nun at the office, or my daughter, or you, where I'm going. I go, okay, you don't have to. So I called her daughter and I said, she's still there. She's still there. I like it.
Yeah. I want you to tell that story in Spanish again. Then there were a couple of other stories that I'll prompt you about, but I want you to tell this story again. Repeat that.
Cuando ella, un día, esta clienta que no podía salir porque tenía que, si iba a la tienda o al que le arreglen el cabello, conmigo. Yo era su caregiver, tenía que ir conmigo. Pero este día alguien vino de la iglesia, alguien que ella conocía, él se la llevaron. Le dijeron, vamos a dar una vuelta, se la llevaron y ella se fue. Y nosotros la manejadora del building y su hija la buscamos por todas partes. No sabíamos dónde estaba. Su hija me dijo, ¿cómo se llama? Que no me preocupara, que ya para las 5 ella regresaba para la hora de la cena. Sí, regresó, pero al día siguiente cuando yo le pregunté dónde se había ido, pues ya todos la habían interrogado. Entonces ella conmigo se enojó y me dijo que ella tenía 90 años y que no tenía que darle cuentas a nadie de dónde iba. Y no te voy a decir. Ok, no me digas, está bien. A mí me dio mucho gusto que ella me contestara así, porque yo dije, bueno, hay algo de ella todavía ahí. Todavía está ahí.
That story is amusing because the woman showing her independence. You know, I don't have to let everyone know. I'm 90. I don't have to let everyone know. You did tell a couple of other stories, and it's the way that you approach, like people who are independent and they still have a fair amount of ability. It's like in some of the daily care, like taking a bath or a shower, and they want to preserve their independence there. You know, one of the things that we talked about was how you handle that situation.
Yeah, I tell them, you know, like if they want to prefer, you know, stay in their own place. Of course they do. No one wants to go to another facility, you know.
They want to be
independent. They want to
independent.
be independent in their own place, you know. They want to have their own pet. They can't even take care of the pet, but, you know, I help with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell them, I said, you need to take your medication like it is. You need to eat, and you need to drink water, because if you don't, I go, and they have to take you to the emergency because you are dehydrated. We're going to have a problem, because if you have too many times going up there, I go, it will be out of my hands and out of your son's hands, and they will put you in a place.
Yeah.
And then
In a care facility, right?
Yeah, then you won't be able to come back here. I says, it will be out of our hands. I go, the doctor can have that power if you are too many times in there, because they will say that you need 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
No. Then they drink and then they eat, because this is what they don't want to eat. As we get older, we lose our appetite and we don't want to eat, or we don't want to
drink water.
Especially drinking water.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I suggest for them. I tell them, you know, but in a nice way, because they're still, you know, not only my bosses, they're still seniors, and I owe them respect.
Okay.
I would like the same for me when I get older. I don't want someone to tell me, say, hey, you need to take your medication, you need to do this or that, otherwise you're going there. I don't
You don't want to be threatened. You don't want to be threatened.
No, so I don't want to threaten them either, but I let them know. I let them know, I tell them, you know, in a nice way, how things are going to be.
And how you handle people who want to take a bath or a shower on their own? Because, you know...
I tell them, I said, you know, you need to wait till I'm here. I said, you don't want me in there with you, that's fine. As long as I'm here, I'll be outside the door and you can do whatever you want. I run the bubble bath, or I'll do whatever you want. Okay, so they listen. I said, you don't want to fall. I said, you know, because if you break your bones or your legs,
again, it's out of your hands again.
It's
Their
going to be out of my
independence is
hand.
gone.
Your independence will be gone, you know. And so you spill anything, just throw a paper or put a shit in there, and when I come in, I'll clean it up. You don't have to do that. Yeah, but I feel bad that you have to clean up the mess. Don't worry about that. I said, we don't want broken bones.
The mess is not so bad. Broken bones are bad.
Yeah, we don't want you falling down or anything like that.
So,
okay.
Could I have you then kind of reiterate those stories in Spanish again? Again, the preserving independence, but their need to eat, their need for water, and then to drink water, need to take their medications, and then how you handle the shower. So if you could, in your own words, just explain that in Spanish.
No, sí, uno tiene que tener mucha paciencia con los señores de la tercera edad, porque tenemos que ver que ellos nos escuchen, y si nosotros usamos un tono que a ellos no les agrada, pues no nos van a hacer caso. Tenemos que ser un poquito más como a un niño, pero con respeto. Hacerles ver que ellos no pueden tomar su baño solos, aunque quieren, pero ¿cómo se llama? No todo el tiempo, pero quieren. ¿Cómo se llama? Tienen que esperarse que yo esté ahí o alguien que las pueda ayudar. Tienen que comer para que puedan tomar sus pastillas, porque algunas medicinas necesitan haber comido algo, tener algo en el estómago. necesitan tomar agua, especialmente cuando estamos en tiempos de calor. Necesitan hidratarse porque si no se deshidratan y después llegan a ir a la emergencia y ellos saben que tienen que tomar agua. No quieren, pero tienen que tomarla.
We have time just for one more topic, and in closing, you and I had talked about how people who are losing their memory, losing their ability to care for themselves, they're still that person. And we had talked about and you had a very beautiful way of describing that.
The movie
in
Alice?
the movie, still out, yeah.
Still Alice. That movie was really good because it shows the care, and she was still that person.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, that she was still the same person, still there, is the same person.
So that's the thing to remember is
Yeah.
maybe people are suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, but they're still the same person inside.
They're still the same person. Other people might call you, oh, she's repeating, oh, she's crazy. I go, no, she's not.
Right.
How do you feel if you know she has a cancer? Or will you treat her the same way? No. Well, it's the same. I go. Because when they're repeating so many times, some of the other seniors get uptight.
Upset, yeah.
And I go, no, I said, she's sick.
Can you, again, respond in Spanish?
Esta enfermedad del Alzheimer y del demencia muchas personas no la entienden, como yo al principio que no la entendía. Muchas personas piensan que es te tratan de loco. Entonces uno tiene que tratarlos con respeto, no solamente porque están repitiendo, porque no se van a acordar al rato de lo que tú le dijiste, le vas a faltar el respeto. Entonces uno tiene que, como el movie es la misma persona, sino que tiene su enfermedad, está en su cabeza, en su mente, ya no responde a ciertas cosas que normalmente una persona hace.
Well, Norma, thank you very much. We are at the end of our show. You very graciously have offered if people have questions, they can contact you using your cell phone number, which is 415-827-6044. Norma, thank you for telling your experience and your stories, and again, contributing to our awareness of what are the things that you've experienced as a caregiver for seniors with disabilities. Thanks for your perspective. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Gracias.
I'd like to close with a thank you to Seroptimus International of Novato and to Novato Community Television for making these productions possible. My name is Madeline Peters. My guest today is Norma Gaona. Thank you.